Oh, hello. It's it's me, COVID-19. Just kidding. What's up, guys? It's your boy, it's Corn. I'm behind. No surprise. I'm very busy and also very tired and very lazy. But today we're gonna do the Kalos Week 5 or 4 and 5 recap stream. I know at this point we're so behind that it almost doesn't matter, but I feel like I owe it to people, I guess, to at least still do these. And when I say week 4 and 5, I really mean it's probably just a week 5 recap, because I think week 5 was the funnier of the two. And then we're going to spotlight 2 separate games for Dandaman and Goose, because tragically there was a scheduling conflict. That game just never happened. It is what it is. Things happen. I completely understand. So we're just going to go straight down the row here. We're going to start up with... we're going to first grab one of the other leads to help me cast this so I can probably eat a snack. There you are. Fuck. We're live. It's weeks 4 and 5, and by that I mean probably just week 5. Week 5 was more interesting.
Ooh, boy. Okay.
So, I think we're just gonna start with, we're gonna do Weird Dancer versus Blazely Demon. We're just gonna go down the line to week 5, and by that I mean we're gonna do that game, and then do Goose and Dandaman from the week prior, and then keep going.
Got it. Okay. Can you screen share to Discord?
Fuck no. Yeah, sure. Give me a second.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I realize these streams become less and less useful the later I keep fucking doing them, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's what happens when, sometimes you just get really busy.
Yeah, life, dude. Like,
True.
that's the way it
This
is.
fucking sucks. Alright. Teams are... Okay, we got the game loaded up here. Teams are kind of showing off only one Paradox Pokemon this time around, but he's got the Palafin, which he's already shown can do some crazy shit. I've seen this thing be special. I've seen it not be... Like, he's played it in multiple ways, and they're all awesome. Iron Boulder is kind of like, I don't know exactly what set he's running, but you can run this sort of a run-of-the-mill booster speed Swords Dance cleaner. I'm like super not used to seeing Tornadus Incarnate in singles. I think it's kind of mid. And it feels weird because play VGC. I'm used to this being like busted, but maybe not so much in singles. But I think it still has good utility. And a lot of options it can try to bring. It can also be played offensively, which is kind of interesting, so we'll see what he's done. I don't remember this game at all, because it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, me too.
So it'll be a bit of a surprise. Cerulege, I think we've mostly seen Ceruleges being played for weak armor with like a boosting set or weakness policy, which I think is fine. I think it's quite good. But also, like, you know, I think there's other ways to use it, so I'm kind of curious what Blazely Demon's done. I think he's mostly favored the offensive variants. Either it's like a setup sweeper with weak armor, or like weakness policies and some other stuff, so we'll see. Grimmsnarl, just kind of your classics. It's like one of the best singles supporters in the game. Actually, was one of the best even double supporters in the game, besides Incineroar for a while, back in like Generation 8. So I have no doubts this is gonna just be very annoying. Having 2 Prankster uses is already very annoying, so we'll see how Weird Dancer is able to navigate it.
Yeah.
And then Kinkino is kind of interesting. I actually quite like this mon. Might make my next season draft. A little spoiler there.
He's back, fellas.
I'm coming back.
He's back.
Corn Season 3, bitch. Yeah. But Kikino, I think, is super cool. It can really just set up, and with Technician loaded die, you get a lot of damage. I was a little doubtful because I wasn't sure if that was more damage versus like a skill link variant, but egg on my face, I guess. Math says otherwise, but this thing can kind of go ham. Weird dancers team. It's weird to look at because average points cost for this team is like 6, and that's with the Volcarona. But I think he's still got like a pretty cool squad. Like Mew is here. He's played him mostly as like a support, kind of like a defensive Mew, which is kind of neat. Hitmontop, I forget what he does with this thing. It's a mix sometimes. I feel like I've seen him do Intimidate with it, but generally Hitmontops like to go Technician, lean a little bit more into the offense, which I think is fine, but still packing good utility with like good coverage moves plus Rapid Spin. Muck, I know Weird Dancers usually run this thing as like a Terra Ghost with Sneak Attack, which is very odd, but it's kind of neat. I'm curious to see if he's going to keep on that tradition or if he's kind of diverged from his usual playstyle. So, I mean, mostly it's bulky offense, but I don't know if he's going Terra Ghost or not. I think Terra Ghost is maybe okay. I don't think it's amazing, but it could work. Oricorio, of course, kind of keeping to his dancer tag here. I don't know what this is supposed to do. Like, Oricorio to me is kind of like whatever, but I guess it's like a defogger and can hit decently hard. Does it get Quiver Dance natively? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I mean, it hasn't gotten it in the past.
I'm not sure if it's one of those mons that got like randomly good moves in the shift from Gen 8 to 9. I would be very surprised if it suddenly got it.
It gets it as an egg move.
Oh Christ! Okay. So maybe he's just intending to bring 2 Quiver Dancers and just go crazy. If the first one doesn't work, he's got a second one, Volcarona. I mean, Volcarona's kind of the classic one, if we had to say. Not a whole lot to say about that. And then also there's this hoodlum kid, fucking Scrafty. There we go. I know it has the option to do like I think Dragon Dance sets, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, Dragon Dance, bulk up.
It's got some options. I'm not convinced.
Power up punch is gone, sadly.
Unfortunately, I'm not convinced the D-Dance set is great. I don't think it's very good into this matchup, but I can see it being like a ladder set.
Yeah, it's just that Scrafty's base speed is just gotten so much worse. Like D-Dance sets in like Gen 5 UU, like when Scrafty debuted, were good, right? They were like a decent kind of bulky late game cleaner. I mean, this thing's stats are crazy.
Oh yeah, it's got some good other stats, but being based for like 50 speed is so bad.
Fighting types in Gen 5 were just really strong, but that really low speed is kind of hurted over time, and I think it's if you're gonna use Scrafty, like a bulk up rest set with Shedskin is still probably the way to go. I mean, it gets Intimidate and Moxie, I think, right? So
yeah,
but Shedskin is such a good kind of get out of jail free card if this thing gets burned. And
oh yeah, I think it looks really good into like a couple of status applicators, like Grimmsnarl I think can get some stats, like T-Wave, and Ceruledge can run Will-O-Wisps. That actually seems pretty decent. But let's get into it. Let's see how this game goes. There's the good luck, have funs. There's the lead of the Snarl. I'm gonna set that to slow. Faking out the Mew, gets off the free the flinch turn, and there's a taunt shutting down. Probably a thing. Shutting down the taunt for taunt. Alright, cool, that works. And there's the parting shot to switch out. And here comes the Ceruledge as it takes the flamethrower, showing it is not flash fire as expected. Weak armor is here. There's a switch into Scrafty as this goes for a sword stance. Asterath. This guy doesn't play Blood Angels, does he? There's a Bitter Blade into the Scrafty, and there's a crunch as it goes to Sash, proccing weak armor.
Very good.
Looking good. And there's a Shadow Sneak to finish it off.
Now, I don't remember if Scrafty gets Sucker Punch, but it would have failed there because it was trying to out-prioritize a priority move. Either way.
Right.
So that was a dead Scrafty one way or another.
Yep. And there's the revenge kill, funnily enough, with a Shadow Sneak into a Shadow Sneak. Palafin comes in here, flips turn back into a superhero, and here comes the fucking Grimmsnarl. Gets the knockoff, getting rid of those that mental herb and proccing Poison Touch, putting this Grimmsnarl on a little bit of a timer here. There's the parting shot to switch out the Gak and Yak. God fucking damn it. There's the Palafin switch in. Here's a poison jab. 25% is pretty nice, and there's the poison. Actually, even putting the Palafin on a little bit of a timer here, which is kind of cool. But there's the Jet Punch. I suspect Choice Band? But it's hard to tell. It's also like 160
Item has not been
base attack.
revealed. Interesting that this is a Technician top. I mean,
There-
I guess it could be a Steadfast top, but
That's true. But there's the
Probably not.
fake out for 26%.
yeah, it's Technician for sure.
Oh, yeah. And there's the Mach Punch to clean it out. Dang, actually him on top put in any work there. Good shit.
Top's a good Pokemon.
I still like it.
Not good into a Tornadus, though.
No, but Mew looks a little bit better. Takes the Bleakwind Storm not very well. Little chuckles.
Oh, my speed was dropped because of the Bleakwind Storm.
My
I got
chuckles, are you
taunted.
alright? I've been taunted.
Oh!
Oh, I am no longer an elder god made flesh.
They don't tell you that they void their bowels when they get knocked out by a genie.
Anyway, so
Oh, Mew's dead. Anyway, there's a teetered. Okay,
Dark.
That's right. This was the game that caused the ruling issue.
Yeah.
So a complete oversight on our end, folks, is we've banned the majority, and I only say the majority because we missed one, of moves that apply confusion with no other effects. So, or like, you know, no downside, like flatter, confuse ray, swagger. All of those have been banned by the league's rulings. The one that we missed is Teeter Dance, because all of like 6 things get it, so we didn't think about it.
Yeah. It's such a niche move. It's always been a really niche move.
Yeah. So-
And the reality is that in this case, Teeter Dance really didn't impact anything.
No, it did
as
not
you
make a
see, like
difference, unfortunately, for better or worse.
such a good click on Giga Drain with Volcarona, but it's gonna die here.
Unfortunately, I mean the Giga actually at the +1 was really nice. Getting that kill on Iron Boulder, I think in any other scenario would have felt really good. But here's the top, faking out the Grimmsnarl for 29. Oh, it's a Life Orb. Okay. Terra-fighting Mach Punch. Fake out. Steadfast.
Fake Out
Yeah.
is gonna out prioritize the Mach Punch here because it's +2 in the bracket, I believe, or it's +3 in
It's
the bracket or something
+3.
like that.
Yes. Mach Punch is a +1.
Because it'll outspeed Extreme Speed as well.
Yes. There's the Mach Punch, gets the KO. Now we're staring down the Minkino. Goes Terra Stellar. Tail Slap for the KO.
I don't think that Terra Stellar was necessary.
No.
I don't think it was necessary.
No, not in the slightest. But it looked cool.
It was cool, and it was a cool 2-0. I don't really have a lot of notes. I think this game was fought really hard, and both players played pretty well.
Yeah, I think maybe Blaze Lademon had a little bit better control on the positioning. I think the fact that he was able to really... I don't think abuse is the right word, but he was able to leverage the Grimmsnarl's switching and the Palafin like decently well. Palafin, I think, unfortunately just died to the Hitmontop for kind of free, but like, you know, he was able to like get that Grimmsnarl back in and out over and over again to really just be annoying. And hitting those taunts, I think, onto critical pieces like Volcarona and Mew really made a difference in the long run. Because if this Volcarona was +1 with Quiver Dance, this would have been, I think this would have been a very different endgame.
Yeah, this would have been pretty lights out. But that was good.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say other than good game, fellas.
I like the Dark Pulse on Tornadus. I think that was a good coverage option.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't even know this thing got Dark Pulse.
Oh yeah, it's a weird, it's a niche move because it's weird because in the other division I've talked about how a Tornadus Therian was being run with Dark Pulse, but I think in this matchup, Dark Pulse on Tornadus actually is really smart, knowing that there could be multiple psychic types, and not having to rely on your horrifically inaccurate like Bleakwind Storm. Dark Pulse actually just feels kind of good. hitting
yeah.
most of these neutrally, if not super effective, until like Mew. And I think he has another Psychic type on the pool that he didn't take, but yeah, I think it's actually quite smart. Let's go next game, and we'll do a Goose game from the previous week. So this is coming right out of week
Goose
4.
Cuddles.
Yep, this will be the Goose Cuddles game.
Ooh,
This one was interesting.
double Paradox Dog again.
Oh yeah, Goose has been very much favoring the Paradox Dog setup. Oftentimes with Sun, manual Sun off of Mousehold, but let's talk about these teams real quick. Cuddles is bringing... this feels like a weird team to me, because it's almost like it's just Steels and Fairies, and also a couple of Dark types. Like...
I mean, that's exactly what it is, right?
Yeah.
This is definitely, like... This feels like a very old school ladder team. I need a physical wall, and I need a special wall. I need the best things in the metagame that I have access to.
Yep.
And I need something that can break stall, and I need something that I think is funny.
Yep.
That's really what this is. And
yeah.
as it happens, hey, Dark type offense, pretty fucking good in Gen. You
Oh
know?
yeah, especially with things like Roaring Moon and Darkrai in your corner, like this team kind of can go ham. I feel like, and if you made a couple of tweaks, like if you switched out something for maybe like a Corviknight or a couple other things, maybe like this would just probably be just a ladder team.
Yeah. You know, it's good, right? It's very mid-rangey. It's kind of like it's like, I don't want to call it a balanced team, because like balance as an archetype is very specific in that you don't usually have complete and total hard walls on a balanced team. But this is like what a person who is like looking at what they might think of a balanced team as at first blush, right? Where it's like, I have my wall breakers and I have my things that don't die. Right?
Yeah, this is
And
like
what's
if
nice-
you described a balanced team to someone who wasn't entirely sure what a balanced team was, and this is what they came up with.
Yeah, and it's almost there, right? Like, Fortress is a great slow pivot, and I think... No, so yeah, Sylveon can dry pass, right? So
Yep.
these are two possibly very strong pivot Pokemon. Dene gets Volt Switch. Does Roaring Moon get U-turn, right?
I believe so.
Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon learns U-turn, and let's see. Memory serves me right. Jirachi
Doesn't Jirachi get passed?
gets both pass and U-turn. So, you know, there is like a Volt turn core here with sleep support. I have not seen this game. I wouldn't be shocked if that wasn't the case for what this team composition is. I also wouldn't be shocked if it was, because Bard is a very good player. I played them last night, and I was like, whoa, you're like super good. You know, they're asking the right questions, they're like thinking their plays through. They're trying to think like enough turns ahead that it's manageable, but still a fair amount of turns ahead to see like what the game plan is down the road.
Oh yeah.
And
for
so
sure.
I really admire that about their play. And in the same time, right, Goose's team, right? Goose has been pretty predictable with like the double Paradox Dog Sun. But if it ain't broke, you know, it's clearly like a comfortable team style for him. And that's not a bad thing.
No, for sure. I think, though, this is a bit of a deviation. A rather sharp one at that, because Goose has not shown either Zoroark or Cramorant, and I don't even remember... Well, look at this week's, maybe like week 3? Yeah, I don't think he's even taken Landorus Therian very much at all. He's usually taken, like, Gliscor. So this is a bit of a... I would say a big shakeup for him. with this composition. You know, Zoroark especially, I think, is such a wild card in every sense of the word. Because this can be any Pokemon, it can fake almost any moveset on any Pokemon if it really wanted to try. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he plays this. I think I remember how this game went. Because I was there, but this is also, and I thought it was really funny. So we'll kind of see if he, if he can flex his muscles. I think there was still a bit of a crutch onto Emmanuel's Sun setup with some of these. But I don't want to try to guess anymore. Let's just hit that button.
Sure. Okay, the classic nutcase lead here into yeah.
There's Emmanuel's Sun.
But I mean, it's good to burn. At least rocks are up. Sturdy, does the flamethrower get the burn?
If it did, that would have been great. That crit,
Body press is huge.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that crit mattered because
So
Zoroark is made of paper, but
yeah, Zoroark is made of paper. But that's a really cool sun lead, right? To fake your other sun lead.
oh yeah,
It just so happens that these days Fortress's main mode of damage is a fighting type move, and that'll hit both super effectively. But D-Dance Gouging Fire is dangerous, especially in the sun.
Yep.
When I played Goose Week 1, I had to really think about that.
And there's the +1 proto attack Sun boosted Flare Blitz crashing into the Dedenne for the Yoko. There's the Roaring Moon,
Okay.
actually benefiting from owns the manually set up Sun, and he actually goes to the Dragon Claw to KO.
Good. That is
Really good
good,
utilization.
smart thinking, utilization.
A
of the enemy's
bird!
team. A bird is here. This
Oh,
reads
shit.
Ice Beam to me. This feels like this dragon is about to get Ice Beamed. Nope.
This
We're gonna
dragon's
go
about
for
to
the
get a
gulping.
fish cocked in its face.
This man is trying to eat an Arrokuda, but does not know how.
Oh my god. The Endure, the knockoff, the Gulp Missile!
Gulp Missile, drop in offense.
That's so funny.
That's wild. You and Goose going crazy in the chat.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, it's Cramorant. If Cramorant gets a single, fish spat out, good day. There's the Landorus Therian switch in with the Intimidate actually cutting that attack back down, which is quite nice. There's the knockoff actually getting rid of the Assault Vest, and there's a Hammer Arm for the KO. Really cool, actually. I like that quite a bit.
On AV Landorus, you're not really caring that much about speed at that point in the game. If you can get one thing out of the way, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's
but
the
this is a Darkrai.
That is a Darkrai, but...
It's a mythical Pokemon.
Oh, but the Mousehold lives, and it goes for the Tidy Up, clears those rocks, gets the Dragon Dance boost.
Got a Dragon Dance of its own.
And there's a switch into Jirachi. I have to wonder if that's the right switch, but...
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He rolls the full
10.
10.
Not enough to kill the Jirachi, but it does not matter.
And there it
Bomb
goes,
goes
actually.
off.
I have to
But the
wonder
question
here,
remains.
would it have been better to let Darkrai go, or let something else go? Maybe the Fortress? Because a full health Jirachi, instead of taking 2 Pop Bombs, you could actually maybe get something else off.
True.
Because the Mousehold, even though it's at +1 and, +1 speed, at no HP, a Jirachi that survives could actually maybe just go for a KO. Because now, yeah, the Terra on the Fortress doesn't matter. I don't think it mattered to begin with. And there's the Pop Bomb. It's just going to get the KO on the Darkrai. And there it goes. Mousehold actually getting 4 kills on its own is insane. But really good game for Goose, I think. This is in my opinion, I thought it was a turning point in the season. Then he missed week 5, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, time zones are hard, and
True, 6 hours is a bitch.
yeah, what I really do appreciate about this game in particular is that he faked out the Manual Sun on the Zoroark and the Mousehold, right? Mousehold double Pass Paradoxmon is actually, I think, shaping up to be a pretty powerful archetype in draft.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because Mousehold is such a flexible mon. If you have a more sort of VGC oriented brain, Mousehold is much more of a support Pokemon and has that sort of normal type. Discord did the stupid thing again.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah. So Mousehold gets that privileged, normal type move pool, and it can set up Sun, and obviously, I mean, like, Raging Bolt, I think, would have been also quite strong against this team as well. But yeah, no, I think that was just really kind of... That was clean play from both players.
Oh yeah.
But I agree. I think
I think the deal ender was just the Jirachi switch, and having it take 2 pop bombs kind of was the killer.
I would have probably I probably personally, and this is my play style, this is not a critique on Bard's decision making, because this is very after the fact, and we already know that this person's a very strong player. If for my sensibilities, I probably would let Darkrai die, because with 2 mons left, sleep isn't super valuable when I can survive something with Jirachi and then try to kill the Raging Bolt with Sylveon.
Yeah. I mean, at that point in the game, I feel like either of those, like letting Darkrai go. Actually, I think even really letting Fortress go instead, because what is the Fortress going to do at 13% with probably no window to do anything?
It was Terra Water as well.
Yeah, so even the Terra wasn't going to match up very well into Raging Bolt, so
yeah.
I would have sacked actually Fortress, if anything, to clean switch for Jirachi.
Sure.
Knowing in my head too, like, okay, Darkrai could actually get some work down against Raging Bolt if Sylveon kind of shits the bed. But yeah, letting anything else go, I think, would have been okay, and that could have saved the game. But otherwise, the game was, I think, really well played up to that point. So props to both these players. Also, Abyssian, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Now, if you have Amazon Prime, do not hesitate to subscribe. Anyway, let's go to the next game.
I wore the Erebus Like and Subscribe shirt to go grocery shopping last night, and my partner was very confused.
Oh, the
what?
Like and subscribe?
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. She thought it was a really shitty drawing of Thanos, and I laughed very hard.
It's actually quite the opposite. It's not at all Thanos. No, you don't. I do appreciate it. Come on now. Alright, let's find that Dan Demand game versus Jace of Spades. What the fuck is it? Oh, there.
That game was kind of crazy.
All I know is it ended at a 1-0, and I don't understand how or why. So let's see what happens.
It was... this was an interesting one.
So, looking at teams here, Dan Demand bringing a rather familiar squad to some of his previous games. Iron Valiant, I'm gonna guess this is like a physical variant or something. Probably with booster speed for just good offense. Probably Choice Galarian Zapdos of some varietal. It actually looks really, I think, pretty good into this team, because Scarf, Brave Bird lets you kill Meowscarada, and then Thunderous Kicks just give you a lot of mileage into Hisuian Gastrodon, or not Gastrodon, Hisuian Gudra, and even can just eventually wear down everything else except this Mismagius. But for sure, Mismagius doesn't want to be taking a Brave Bird to the face. So I feel like it's actually kind of threatening. Iron Moth, assuming it's booster speed, can actually get some good distance here. Being fire poison, you're somewhat favorable into these 2 grass types and the fairy type. So I think it actually looks really good here. Clefairy. And rounding up the team is Magnezone and Discastron. Magnezone, maybe it's okay. It's like pretty good, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so Magnezone is... It's weird, I think Analytic Magnezone is actually pretty good here, because what you're trying to do with Magnezone, right, is you're trying to take out Gardevoir. That's like the big thing you're trying to take out with Magnezone.
Oh yeah, with like a flash cannon, just maybe
Yeah.
two-shot it.
Yeah, something like that. And also Vaporeon, but Vaporeon, it hits really hard, but it's kind of slow, and it can get overwhelmed pretty easily by Valiant or like like Special Valiant, or like if you're kind of lucky, just some pressure from Galarian Zapdos. Here's the problem, right? You're probably not going to want to bring Magnet Ball, because what you're trying to trap, if you're trying to trap something, it's probably Hisuian Gudra, which has like 8 different ways to kill you.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best target for a trap, but I don't know how I don't know if that calculation has been made, so we'll see what happens. But I can at least tell you this Gastrodon looks kind of okay, like not very good this week, given 2 grass types and a Vaporeon who probably won't mind it. But if nothing else, I mean, it's pretty fat. It kind of sits there. It's maybe a safe switch in into Vaporeon.
It could be, Storm Drain, right?
Yeah,
We'll stop
predict the
this
Hydro Pump
water
or
step.
Scald or something. Yeah, the soak
Yeah,
it,
but
and
it's not doing much else. I think Gastro might like
I feel like Gastro's the hazard setter, status spreader,
yeah,
and then it
yeah.
dies.
It doesn't get toxic anymore, which is kind of disappointing and sad. But I don't know. It doesn't do a whole lot. Like, a very weird fringe move on Gastrodon is like Sludge Bomb could be pretty good to like get the 30% chance to poison.
Yeah, and if you predict like the switch in, like you switch in onto Vaporeon switches out, brings in like Meowscarada, and if you read that, you can go for the Sludge, and then it's like, whoa, dang, that's kind of neat. But
yeah, really.
Otherwise, it's kind of like whatever. But looking at Jace's squad, I don't know how to feel. I mean, I don't know how to feel about his entire draft gimmick this season to begin with, but I mean, he's got Meowscarada, he's got Hisuian Gudra. What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
There's nothing that could possibly go wrong.
If you can name that video game character, I'll Venmo you $5. What could possibly go wrong? That's okay. It's Bubsy the Bobcat.
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck.
A meme in the early 2010s. Yeah, Clefairy.
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 Pee-pee. So Chase's squad, I feel like, is maybe a little mismatched into this week in particular, but I am always happy to see Mismagius. I'm always happy to see, he's got this kind of core of, like, Meowscarada, Gardevoir, and Gudra, and Vaporeon that I feel like he's kind of been favoring most of the season. Which, to me, is, like, not bad. It's actually pretty good. But I'm just not 100% sure how it's going to perform into... I feel like scarier threats, like the Iron Moth and the Iron Valiant, like both of them look really devastating into this team. But I think both of these players have had a bit of a run in the lower part of their bracket, but it doesn't mean they're completely out of it. I think this will be an interesting one, if nothing else, to watch and to enjoy. So let's hit that big old button. Not the other big button. I want the small one with no sounds. Alright, there's PP. It's staring down a cat.
It's a weird lead.
What the fuck? Why is there T-spikes? Hazard for hazard, I guess. Alright. That'll work.
Sure.
2 layers of T-spikes. Okay.
Okay.
Moonblast into the poison type. I will say, Dandaman is very much one of the newer players. Like, he hasn't really played much Pokemon, period. So I'm not sure if he realizes that going poison type off Protean, like, changes you to a poison type. So he's just kind of hitting Moonblast, I feel like, to just swing for the fences. But this
Is
Clefairy
he-
is, like, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll just go down.
I feel like I don't fully understand. That's a weird switch that I also don't understand for a different reason. But I wonder if he was just afraid to switch, and I can't really fathom why. I feel like the Moth was a very obvious.
Oh my
switch.
god, the triple axle miss!
That's huge.
That just hurts. Well, it is
Moth is
a... Okay, this is a physical Iron Valiant. No swords
Okay.
revealed yet. Yeah, Iron Moth would have been such an obvious switch, but I think that's just maybe something that he's not quite accustomed to thinking about. And there's the Rapid Spin clearing those Stealth Rocks. This Iron Valiant is kind of waiting itself out here, and there's a close combat at +2 that'll get that easy KO.
Yeah, there's good value coming out of this Valiant. It's
Yeah, at the very
Now-
least, it's not going to go out without a fight. But what does it do? Knockoff gaming.
yeah.
So
You see
at
the
least,
power of Iron Valiant right here.
yeah, even when toxic, staying in play for like 5 or 6 turns, you know, it still got the value it wanted. 3 for 1 is great. And here's the Hisuian Gudra, and there's a Thunderous Kick. Actually just gets the straight up KO on this thing. That is kind of crazy. I don't know if that's banded or not. And it copies a Defiant. The Gardevoir did. And there's a Psychic trading 1 for 1. Into the bird, and there's a Magnezone. There's the Air Balloon. I forgot why this says Air Balloon. I guess for the ground type
It's
moves.
quad weak to Earthquake
Yeah.
from Gudra or whatever else.
That's true. Well,
Flash
and
Cannon is not
there's-
the move that I use here.
No, but there's
in
a
any-
Roar. Here's a Moth. And see,
Okay.
this should the Moth I think should have come out much sooner.
A lot earlier because now you probably die to Hydro Pump or
There's a Scald. It actually lived
Okay.
the Scald at 57.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Paradox Mons have stupid numbers, right?
Oh yeah, their numbers are not
Um,
healthy whatsoever.
Oh,
And okay, it goes down there.
sure.
But now we have a basically full health, like Magnezone, full health, Gastrodon in the back. I probably would have gone into Gastrodon, but I'm not 100% sure. There's the Wish, and there's a Body Press? Sure.
Okay.
We'll kill the Vapo. The Gardevoir comes in. There's a Mystical Fire, actually. That's kind of crazy.
Dropping special attack. Balloon is popped.
Mirror Coating actually mattered there, and it brought it down to sturdy.
Mirror
it
Coat
copies.
that's so fucking funny. Mirror Coat's one of my favorite moves. I love Mirror Coat.
It's very
It's
silly.
really funny that it got used here. And now I feel like this is where the game is going to slow down to an absolute crawl.
Oh, absolutely. There's an Ice Beam. Roll? No. Okay.
Because if the fucked up thing is that if Gardevoir gets frozen, it's not over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
there's still a
with
chance.
how little damage this Gastrodon does, especially now.
Yeah, it's minus
like-
like 4.
You know, but Dan is actually kind of being smart in this situation. He's going to burn his stab opportunities. Just see if this thing has a recovery move. Gardevoir does learn, or I don't know if it learns it anymore, but Gardevoir has learned Wish in the past.
Didn't it used to get
Um,
recover at some point?
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised. Most psychic types, I feel like, get it. But
Doesn't get it this gen, but it still does learn Wish, and you know,
I mean, I guess this is maybe just not a Wish Gardevoir. Could be like some. I don't know what this could be, because it's not like he's clicking anything else.
yeah, it's really it's very silly.
Well, there's Mystical Fire. This Gastrodon is minus 6.
Yeah,
Earth Power at minus 1 Spadef because he actually rolled it, the 1 in 10. And there's like KO. With Gastrodon actually putting up a name for itself. One kill
it's
to
on
its
the
name.
board.
It sure is. I don't know what to really say. It was a weird game, and there are like a bunch of turns where we think like there's an obvious play, and then there's suddenly a left turn, and you're like, all right, I guess we're going this way now. But I had fun at the very least. I thought it was kind of funny.
It was kind of it was all right. I liked it. I thought it was very fun.
Oh yeah, and I think that maybe is just the moral of the story. Is not every game has to be like competitively you know, perfect. Sometimes you can just play a silly game, and this one was absolutely silly game territory.
Very silly.
So good job to both players. I think an extra raise of the glass, tip of the hat to Dan DeMann for actually playing it together here. I think besides maybe a couple of weird choices, everything, I don't know, kind of registered as okay to me.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's signs of improvement. Let's go back to week 5. And we have Trees versus JC, which I believe was a pretty crazy one. I mean, it's a 1-0.
This one was wild. I was there for this one. I was floored.
So team-wise, we got some weird shit, and kind of I feel like the Trees special. I feel this to me feels very standard, except he switched out Chi-Yu for something. But he's really liked his Ursulina Blood Moon, he's really liked his Ogerpon Wellspring, and he's really liked the Jolteon, I think either with Terra Fairy or Terra Ice. I think into this matchup, Terra Ice looks a little bit better, potentially. I'm not 100% sure, though, because I feel like Jolteon may be just questionable into this matchup to begin with. But I do like the Ogerpon Wellspring a lot here. It's a free answer to Quaquaval, and once it's set up, it actually can take out a lot of stuff, including this Ursaluna and maybe even Volcanion. Conkeldurr, I think Guts is pretty free. Flame Orb Guts has been like a tried and true set on this thing for an eternity. And with its really nice attack stat and the boost from Guts Burn, you know, Mach Punches off this thing are going to kill things, but you might find a little bit of a hard time getting some purchase into this week because there are things like this Galarian Weezing and the Sneasler to kind of take those hits, but we'll see if he's able to find an opening. And the two not mentioned are the Dragonite and the Glimmora, both of which they're pretty standard to me. Glimmora especially being one of the premier hazard up setters in this generation. I think has a really good spot in this matchup. And although, again, I have to wonder if it's going to struggle a bit because there are a couple of big poison types. Although one of them could be levitating, so I'm not sure. But if the Sneasler comes in, it could just clear up those toxic spikes, and then Glimmora is suddenly like in an awkward spot. But we'll just have to wait and see. As for JC's team, we got some really cool Mons and Weezing. Volcanion, just a great. I really like it. This is like one of my favorite competitive like OU Pokemon since like Gen 6 when it came out, or Gen 7 or whatever.
Gen 6, yeah.
Yeah, Fire Water was like, I thought it was like, oh, that's a crazy good typing.
And it is.
And it absolutely is. When you round out your Fire Water Grass Core in 1.5, like in maybe 2 Pokemon, one of them being this, oh, life good.
Oh yeah. And it's its own water resist, right? Because it has water absorb. Or isn't? Does it get water absorbed? Or like
yeah, that's its ability. Yeah, I guess water absorb.
This is a pretty standard, like, I don't want to say standard because this is draft, but this is a pretty, I think, strong cookie cutter Webb's offense team. The one thing, right, would be, in this case, a player who's probably a little too sweaty is looking at that team and being like, this is probably not Defog Weezing, because, you know, it's just not, it's not...
It just doesn't fit the Webs archetype, because why would you play
Yeah,
your own
it doesn't
Webs?
really fit the Hazard's hyper offense archetype. Like,
Yeah.
a Hazard remover doesn't really do that, because you want to be able to kill stuff, unless it's something like an Excadrill or something that is a very aggressive spinner, right? A Starmie. Sorry, I don't think you know what that Pokemon is, because it's not in this gen. Haha.
Oh, never heard of it.
Starmie to me is like the perfect archetypal like offensive spinner, right? And it's been pretty consistently good for a long time. Obviously nothing quite like that on this team, but except it totally is because there's a Quaquaval, right?
Yeah, there is in fact a duck. I can spin. Look at this thing. It's already fucking. There it goes.
It's already spinning. It's already removing hazards.
Look at that thing go.
I yes.
You should be. You fear this dance.
I joke that Quackleval is like my least favorite Pokemon because I think it's actually very cool. I fear JC with Quackleval. I think
That's
what it comes
fair.
down to.
Understandable.
Because JC and Trees are both very good players. But yeah, we got a really interesting kind of mid-rangey squad versus a pretty predictable, but very solid Webs offense team. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, we can't even be sure if it's gonna be like very standard because the way JC's been playing pretty much all season has been like a mix of like, oh, this is like what I expect it to be, and then a bit of I didn't know it could do that.
Yeah.
What? So I'm very excited for this game. Also because there's a Cricketune. Hell yeah! Look at that guy.
It's great.
Hit him with the whoops. All right, here we go. There's the bear.
There's Freddy.
There's Freddy Fazbear, and there's
Freddy
the Jolteon
Fazbear
Terra
himself.
Ice. Ice Terra Blast doesn't kill actually. And there's an Earthquake for the one shot.
I am Speed has died.
Rest in peace.
Bob.
It's not even the real Speed, that's why. There's the
It's not the
Earthquake
real
actually
Speed,
hitting
that's-
Bob for 50%. But going down to that Drain Punch, back up to 77.
So,
And
yeah,
there's the bird.
I don't think I stay in with Ursaluna here when you have a Weezing, right? Because
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot I'm fearing other than maybe Earthquake from this thing.
Holy shit, the Brave Bird.
Brave Bird's nuts, but also, it's hard. Like, again, Conkeldurr is such a raid boss of a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, if you don't like completely burst or fully cripple it, it'll just kill you. There's the close combat into the Glamora.
White
Toxic
herb.
Debris comes out.
Yeah, a lot
There's
of
the
battle
White
effects.
Herb for the Unburden. There's the second hit, and it'll get the KO.
Spikes are up, but that can be easily cleared by a Weezing switch in. This is pretty big, clearing the stuff out.
There's the swap. Oh, into the Volk. I'm not sure about that
Not what
one,
I would
but
have done.
you'll
Again,
take
you
the
have a fairy
E-Speed
type that's also your
decently.
poison type, right?
Yeah, there's the Earthquake. It actually will live here, so it gets one swing at the top. Also, the Sludge Bomb rolls the Poison, which I think is kind of big, actually.
It's kind of big because this is probably multi-scale, so this thing's not keeping multi-scale for very long.
No, absolutely not.
Um,
And there's the Weezing with neutralizing gas actually being able to pick up those spikes. And here's the switch into the Blood Moon Ursaluna. That's a lot of damage for Strange
It's
Steam.
huge.
Choice Specs.
I can only
Specs. Oh my god. There's the Okrapon Wellspring. And here's the switch out. Into the tune, bitch, let's go!
Sure.
Stomping
Tantrum is
Tantrum.
resisted by bug type here.
Well,
The Cudgel is not.
yeah, okay. Well, there he goes. And here's the Schnoz. The
She's
Schnoz.
back in, no Unburden, but doesn't matter. Dire Claw, hits. It's very fast.
Yeah, Sneasler will just natively outspeed. And there's another Dire Claw. No second effect because it's already poisoned. Earthquake actually comes out here, gets that KO. Poison Chip will counteract those leftovers, actually. Leaving it a little bit more damage than normally would be. And here's the Weezing back in here. Takes that Earthquake, actually lives it,
Oh my god.
and gets the kill with the Strange Steam. And here's the Conkeldurr. Mach Punch doesn't even do anything here, and there's the Strange Steam KO. I am, upset. But that was actually kind of clean.
I mean, this is a real Pokemon, and I remember when Galarian Weezing got revealed. I'm like, this thing looks fucking ridiculous.
Oh, he's awesome, though.
But it's like, you can't do much better. It's a top hat, dapper fart cloud that actually purifies the air.
Yeah, he's smoking in the toxic fumes and shoots out actually clean air.
Yeah. It's a good Pokemon, and it did very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at this guy's design. Look at that guy. He's awesome.
We don't even know what the other moves on that thing were. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it needed a moveset. Strange Steam was good enough, I think, into this matchup.
Yeah.
So, oh my god, really tight game, both players, really good shit. Also, Am says in the chat, what's up?
What's up?
Alright, we got a couple more here. We're gonna do Siege versus you, actually.
Yeah.
I think
I
this
can
one we
commentate
can kind
this
of go.
one.
Yeah, you wanna? We
I
can
can
kind of go a little bit
comment.
quick through this one.
Yeah, I can. This one's okay. So Siege's whole gameplay, and we talked about this afterwards because we hang out and we talked about this afterwards.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, every week that you bring Raiko, which is almost every week, you lead with it, which is fair, right? That's a pretty predictable play pattern, right?
Yeah, that's you set that expectation already.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the mentality he has going in. I don't do that. And part of the reason why I don't do that is exactly that. Like, I've brought Raiko as a lead every week because it's a strong lead. And also for harder matchups to kind of not condition other players who watch my games into being like, okay, yeah, this guy's he's gonna bring Raiko, he's gonna lead, he's gonna click Volt Switch, right?
Yeah.
But the thinking here is really, really good. Right? The start of this, the way that Siege is starting the game is really strong. So if you want to play it, I'll walk us through it. What sort of like kind of step by... You can go. So, Drill is out, right? And I know that Drill's gonna be the best lead because this is a Spite Ops team, another Sticky Web lead team, and I'm gonna rapid spin, knowing that I outspeed, but also so I can get the speed boost. I SD here, and from this point over on, it's basically over, right? The thing that would have almost make me lose on the spot, I really believe, is if that Spite Ops at Circle Throw. Circle Throw has a chance to miss, but it is a phasing move, and I'm leading with a setup sweeper, right?
Yeah, so it's a high risk lead, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's also bringing in a bunch of ground weak Pokemon. King Kong Un is like just one of the best fucking nicknames I think I've ever seen. I get faked out. This is really, unfortunately, only delaying the inevitable, as you'll see soon, right?
Yeah.
And you'll actually see that like his choice of bringing Rillaboom and Landorus kind of bites him a little bit. Ironhead, I still kill through bulk up damage, but it doesn't really matter. Crit on the cheese guy. Again, it's kind of a blowout, and I think it's because he was observant. The thinking was there, right? Now I didn't die there because grassy terrain was up. I did not EV this thing to live like an earthquake from Landorus' eye. I don't think I actually could and like kill everything else.
It was weirdly upsetting when that happened. I was like, God damn it, really?
Yeah. I was genuinely surprised he didn't click Grassy Glide. He told me later he didn't have it.
Yeah, I was in, I remember during the call while watching this game live, I was like shouting, Grassy Glide, it kills, I swear, it's not a joke, just click it.
So we played a second game after this, just to test, and like I walked through the exact steps that I took and the thinking that I took. It was still a 6-0, right? I said play however you want to play, lead something else, do whatever. But he led Spite Ops again, right? And I think the Spite Ops lead was pretty scary. If it had Circle Throw, it doesn't have Circle Throw. And this is a good rule of thumb. For anybody who wants to play a Webs team in particular, if you're playing Webs Hyper Offense, you need to get Webs out early. If you're not playing Webs Hyper Offense and you're just playing a offensive team that has a Sticky Web mode, you can treat Sticky Webs like Stealth Rock and get it up mid-game, and that'll really help your cleaner at the end, just to make sure that outspeeds everything.
Yeah, make sure endgame just easier as opposed to, this is your entire game plan.
an incredibly powerful lead into my team this week was Cinderace. Right? Because the worst that I can do, right, into a Cinderace lead is lead drill. The best thing I have in a Cinderace is probably Gyarados, because this was a bulky Gyarados set, right?
Right.
But, you know, I'm probably not leading Gyarados, because Gyarados doesn't get, like, maintain a lot of momentum if it's out first. Right? If it's Intimidate Gyarados, you're kind of hoping that, okay, this thing is gonna, there's gonna be a physical attacker, and then I can cheese out a D-Dance, right? But like Cinderace is such a confounding lead for my team that forces me to hard switch on turn 1 if I have Excadrill out, right? And still probably forces me to, at the very least, click the Water Stab or try to switch. You know, I'm probably not clicking D-Dance if I'm staring at a Cinderace lead with Gyarados.
Oh yeah, I think staying in is crazy.
Yeah.
What is Circle Throw? It's an offensive phasing move and it's a fighting type phasing move that basically you literally throw the Pokemon out and you force a switch. So the whole idea is on turn 1, right, with the leads being as they are, you spin, get your speed boost, and Siege would in theory get webs. And then on turn 2, in response to the Swords Dance, the Spite Up just throws you out of the field and switches in something else. I hope that makes sense, Evil Bard. And I think if had this had Circle Through, I agree 100%. This game would be very different, and would have been a lot scarier.
I think he actually could have. I think he had a good shot of winning. I honestly think, like, because he built a team, and it was a good team to fight me. The other thing that I think was really rough was, I think he wasn't aware of that Grassy Glide lowers Earthquake damage.
Or Grassy Terrain, rather, you mean?
Grassy Terrain, excuse me.
Yeah.
No, well, Grassy Glide certainly lowers Earthquake damage if it kills the thing that's Earthquake.
Well,
right?
yeah, it lowers it to 0 because they don't get to act.
Because they don't get to click the button. But yeah, so you know, it's weird little interactions like that I think make draft really interesting. And I distinctly remember when he drafted both of those mons, I was thinking, okay, that's really interesting. They don't really work that well together because Landorus doesn't benefit from the extra leftovers recovery, and its main stab moves don't like get nerfed because of the Grassy Terrain.
Yeah, being Earthquake and Earth Power.
You know, but other Pokemon do really well. I mean, like Goldango loves Grassy Terrain for the exact reason of it lowers Earthquake damage and gives it passive healing. Right? Same thing with Cinderace. Spidops. Like, everything else in this team is like, woohoo, Grassy Terrain, except for the thing that's busting through walls. Right? Like, Gym Dude Vaping hates grass, which I think is just such a funny nickname. Anyway,
Blue Black,
that was
thank
my
you
game.
for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate it.
Yay!
I won't cut off
喜べ少年
your miniatures weapon arm. I don't know. Thanks for the Prime sub too. You know, fun fact, guys. You know, Prime subs, they're free if you have Amazon Prime. The other thing, they only give your streamer about $2. It's very sad. Ab says you have ascended. Congratulations. But yeah, that's that game. You can keep chugging right along here.
Alright, here it is.
Are we doing this now, or are we saving it?
I want to save it. I want to watch.
Yeah, do
I
best
wanna
for last.
watch-
Best for last.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to watch Kick Jace of Spades.
All right. We'll do this one.
Because
Did we hit the funny? No, not yet.
It
We're gonna
has
save it.
2 of my favorite Pokemon in it, and they're both fighting types. And unfortunately, it's not the fellas. I love the fellas, but Slitherwing is my favorite Paradoxmon, and I just think the world of Annihilate. But here we are.
I am a big fan of Monkey, especially now
It's
that
the same goddamn team.
It literally is the same team.
It's the same team. Did he not? Did he just pick the same team?
I
Has
feel like
this been the same team every week? Let me look at this.
hold on, we can just pull it up on camera. Let's go to week 2. He played
Oh my
Lucario in
God.
week 2.
Okay, all right, but it's almost the same.
Mian week 3. It's like 5. That's why I said I think the core of the team is like Meowscarada. I'm saying words and I'm tired and blanking. Where's this shit? I like Meowscarada, Vaporeon, Hisuian Gudra, and like Mismagius are like the core, and then he like switches 1 or 2 things around.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because this game looks like both players were like, ah, shit. And they both picked the same team from the previous week. Which is maybe fine. We're not going to touch on Jace Spade's team, I think, because we just covered it. But for Kick, it's the same team from the previous week. Which I know we talked about, I think, maybe in a previous stream. But it's got some fun things. It's got the fellas, the Phalanx, with no retreat. They just gotta go crazy. I love... we stand for little man here. Also bringing in his Archaludon, which... Archaludon's great. It's so flexible. If there's weather, it can play rain. If there's no rain, you can play like physical, you can play special, you can play support, you can play utility. Like, it's insanely good, and it's so bulky. And if it doesn't die right away, it stacks stamina or something, and it also doesn't die. At least the physical attackers. Slitherwing, I know Kick has been really enjoying Banded Wing, which is great. I think it's super cool. Especially with, like, I think it has first impression, right? It does.
Yeah,
So Banded first impression off of... This thing has, like, a pretty juicy physical attack stat, so it kind of can go off.
It's got the Paradox Pokemon, privilege, right?
Yeah.
Where these things
Born to have
stats
good numbers.
mirror kind of like something interesting about the Pokemon that's based off of Slitherwing. For anyone who doesn't know, is the past Paradox form of Volcarona, but it's sort of also like a what-if scenario if Volcarona kept a similar stat spread to Larvesta. Larvesta is actually much more of a physical attacker than special attacker. You're running Flare Blitz on this thing instead of Fire Blast.
Oh yeah.
So Slitherwing, in the same way that Larvesta is kind of a grounded Pokemon, Slitherwing is very much the same way. I really dig the combination of sort of the bug fighting type with like fire coverage that Slitherwing has.
Yeah, it's kind of rad actually. I quite like it.
There's a lot of really good ways to run this, but a very simple banded set with like first impression, close combat, coverage move, U-turn is like a winner.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about Venomoth. I mean, this thing,
it's
every time
kind
I
of
see
rad.
Venomoth is, first of all, it's a Pokemon I recognize.
It is, yeah, it is a Gen 1 Pokemon surrounded by all of these horrific things, also Vaporeon.
All these fucking weirdos. No, I'm not a Gen 1er, but I think the fact that Venomoth still gets love is a testament, one, to just kind of how cool its design is. It's very simple. It's just sort of like a poisonous moth with big googly eyes.
Yeah, I also remember watching the Twitch plays Pokemon, the Altering Venomoth.
Oh, yeah. That's, to me, that's like the classic, right?
Yeah, that's peak Venomoth right there.
And also, I mean, it's pretty versatile in draft, right? Venomoth is a sweeper, it's a supporter, it gets Tinted Lens and Wonder Skin, which are two really good abilities.
Oh yeah.
It's Shield Dust too, and Shield Dust isn't the worst thing. If Shield Dust is
functional.
your only option, if Shield Dust is your only option, it's not like Illuminate, right, where it does nothing in a game. Shield Dust is all right.
Yeah, and at the very least too, like I mean, offensively, like they gave this in Quiver Dance. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sleep Powder.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Poison Stab.
It is. I think it's one of the only, if not maybe the only, Quiver Dance users that also gets a decent sleep move.
I certainly can't think of another one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know what else
without us
would.
cheating and saying Smeargle, but that doesn't
That
count.
that don't count. Also, my
Yeah, I
chat
can't-
has requested I drink a lot of water. I just
Is
noticed.
there- Oh, well, okay. Lilligant, right? Lilligant gets QD, it gets QD and sleep powder. But the problem with Lilligant is that it suffers so heavily from 4 moose loss. Like, Unova Lilligant suffers from severe 4 moose lot syndrome with the loss of hidden power, right? So it can't run like HP Rock for coverage.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hard sell to run QD, sleep powder, probably still pedal dance because of
It's
own
just one of the
tempo.
better grass moves.
And I don't even know what you run in the 4th slot. I genuinely don't know. Toxic's not a move it gets anymore. So it's like Lilligant is the other one. I think Venomoth is just better.
I
It
agree.
certainly beats it. Beats it in the 1v1 for sure.
I think just overall, maybe like use case wise,
Yeah.
I think Venomoth is just better than Unovan, Lilligant. I'm not so sure about Hisuian. Hisuian, I think, is just cracked, but that's because
Yeah.
it's kind of cheating. But that's neither here nor there.
Victory dance is real.
I love physical based quiver dance. No, I don't. Fuck that shit.
It's so wild.
And to run on Kick's team, we have Terrapagos, which I feel like has struggled actually this season to find a place. A couple of people have Terrapagos in both, between the two divisions. Kick being the Kalos player with it, and I don't know. I feel like Terrapagos has just struggled to get ground, which is very odd.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes Terrapagos broken, right, is the fact that it can Terra. And of course, we're Terra banning Terrapagos, so there's no Terraform 0 on this thing.
Yeah.
I submit that Terrapagos suffers severely from new toy syndrome. Season 1 we were playing on Indigo Disc, right?
Yeah.
But we had Terrapagos banned, and I think I was the one who initially advocated for the Terrapagos unban, and I think I'm glad we came to an agreement on it, because Terrapagos is kind of a generalist Pokemon where it can do a lot of different things, but it's weird. It can support, but to support it needs support. Like, for it to be a good rapid spinner, it needs to run rest, and that's unreliable. To be a good attacker, it probably needs to run X, Y, Z, ABC, right?
Yeah.
Terrapagos is definitely a build around, I think. And
Yeah, it's good. You can't just. It's hard to splash it. You have to kind of really commit to it.
the way that Kick drafted, he's really building around getting fighting type sweeps. Right? I Kick drafted. Kick had a theme in his draft, which I was really excited about. In addition to all of that, Kick is drafting fighting type offense.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
we can
he's-
even see it in just this game alone. There's already 3 fighting types.
Yeah.
You know. So, I really wish Terrapagos had maybe had a bit more success this season, but it's at least cool to see that at least someone is thinking about it and is bringing it to games.
Yeah.
Last mon Annihilate, it can either be really bulky offensive with like bulk up Drain Punch Rage Fist sets, or a Suicide Bomber with Choice Scarf, Max HP Final Gambit. Both are fine. Both kill things.
Good mon.
It's very good.
No notes, very strong. There's a reason why it's banned to Ubers, and it's not for the same reason, say, a Spathra's banned. Spathra's just broken with Terra. It's a very strong Pokemon otherwise. Annihilate is actually just not designed for singles.
No, this is a
know.
VGC Pokemon for sure. And what do you know? It's gonna see play in the next regulation because they've banned all Paradoxes, Legendaries, and the fucking Treasures of Ruin.
And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm probably going to play this regulation, because Annihilate will probably be good.
Oh, 100%.
I love this
A
thing
million
so
percent.
much.
This thing is coming back
Yeah.
in style.
Excited. It's going to be good.
So let's get into this game.
Let's play some games.
Ooh. Well, here's Orkin
Right.
Orkin's enemy number 1 staring at a water dog, and there's the bandit U-turn dealing 56 into a Vaporeon is crazy. And here's the Archaladin switch in. Takes that Ice Beam. The crit actually rolling kind of high, 26%. But there's stamina.
Could be worse. You know, I mean, he could have switched in on a Scald and got burned. That would have been pretty
Whoa,
bad.
the double roar actually, but the Vaporeon's a bit faster. And here's the All-Terrain Venomoth. Nails the Sleep Powder.
Big, huge.
Really good, actually. I like that a lot. And I think if I'm Kick, you quiver. Oh, there it is.
It's gonna stay in.
You stay in? Okay. I mean, I think it's okay to work through some of those sleep turns on the Vapo. But there's a switch. I don't know if I would. Okay, odd
No.
switch in. I think
I mean, the obvious switch is
it's Goodra. I
Goodra,
think.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's immune or resists both of your stabs.
Yeah, and there's the KO onto Serena. Bringing in the Mismagius. Going for the Sleep Powder again, maybe not realizing that Sleep Claws is a thing and the Vapo's still asleep. But Draining Kiss connects, dealing a little bit of damage, but there's a Sludge Bomb for that 96.
Didn't roll a poison.
And there's a Bug Buzz getting that KO. There's Goodra.
All right.
Sleep Powder actually just proccing the Sap Sipper for free. Again, I think he just forgot that the Vaporeon was asleep in the back there. And this
I
Goodra
do
actually rolls the
remember that these
burn.
games- I think this game in particular was taking. So I think there was that too at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Flash Cannon killing the Venomoth, but the other moth comes in, scoops up the close combat kill, stab CC from Orkin's enemy number 1. Enormous.
Absolutely, and there's a switch in for the Archaladon, actually giving stamina over to Gardevoir, which is
Yeah.
somewhat problematic, I feel like.
Could be bad, right? Could be bad. I mean, if Jace has the foresight to, oh, this is huge, right? That's a great play. Mystical Firing.
Oh yeah, that's really good. And there's a T-Wave actually now to cripple this Gardevoir.
It would have been crazy if this was synchronized Gardevoir.
Oh my god, there's the Electro Shot, the Greed, the No Punish.
Oh man.
Ain't no way. And it hits, it does almost no damage, and there's stamina. And there's the Mystical Fire for the KO. Oh, very silly. Very, very silly. There's the Moth. And there's the U-turn for the KO. Giving over some switch priority, but probably fine.
From this position, I don't think it really makes that big of a difference because, you know, you have a bunch of options. There's the Suicide.
There's
Final
the
Gambit,
Missile.
Need more HP. Very funny.
Orkin's
So then
enemy
he
number
comes
1
in-
is back into the Meowscarada. First impression, Quad Weak
And that's
gets
it.
that easy KO,
Yeah.
taking it home.
Excellent. I mean,
I can't help but wonder if maybe Jace's team was just a little mismatched.
I think it was also. I think there was also some significant misplays too, as well. I mean,
Yeah,
I think Jace needed to be more aggressive with the Goodra switch-ins. You know,
for sure. I mean Goodra is looking really decent. Like looks pretty good into the team. You just have to really play around like the Slitherwing and maybe the like Phalanx.
Mm-hmm.
Those really will do a number on you, but like otherwise you can maybe get some damage onto a couple of the other mons. I also can't help but think maybe the Mismagius was controlled a little poorly. Because Mismagius to me looks decent, like into Annihilate and potentially Slitherwing. If you predict the fighting move, you know, I think there's a pretty easy sequencing pattern to develop where you go like you bait out the fighting move with Goodra, then you go Mismagius. Now they're out of position, and you like maybe Will-O-Wisp something because you're Mismagius, or
Sure,
you like
yeah.
go for like a I don't know, like a Shadow Ball or anything. You know, I think there are avenues of play there.
Yeah,
That maybe were just missed.
I think so too.
But
You know, but ultimately, hey, I mean, you know, it was. I mean, the Orkin's enemy number 1. If an Orkin exterminator guy saw a Slitherwing, I think he would quit.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I want nothing to do with my property. If I see a moth this like gargantuan crawling around my walls, no amount of fire would stop it. Also because eventually it'll turn into a Volcarona and then I'm really fucked.
Yeah.
But really nice game. A nice win for Kick under his belt. You know, still showing that Annihilate with Final Gambit, max HP, Scarfed. Point, click, die. You know, it's a very straightforward option. In this case, it was blowing up a crippled Vaporeon, but you know, and I think in other matchups it really can shine a little bit brighter. But still, really well done. And now for the game that I guess we've been waiting for. Yeah, this is the fabled game of Cuddles versus Blue Black. From what I was being told, this is a game that you specifically, Mox, are supposed to see live on stream. So I'm actually going to let you cast most of it.
Sure.
You know, we can talk.
I'd be happy to. This is a blind cast. I've never. So okay.
We'll talk through the teams. You know, kind of what we expect, and then
sure
go from there. We'll start with Cuddles' team or Evil Bard. Very similar to last week with the Week 4 game, except we've traded out the. Holy shit. Traded out a thing for the Manaphy. Fuck, I forgot what it was.
Darkrai and
Jirachi for Manaphy. There we go.
Yeah.
We've traded out
So you brought
one
your other
mythical
100
for if we switch mythicals basically. But otherwise, team looks relatively similar, which I think is fine.
Yeah,
it works.
I mean, what you're doing right here is you're replacing your Stall Breaker with a second sweeper.
Pretty much.
You know, that is actually also kind of a wild card because, you know, it can be a bulky attacker. It can be kind of more bulky, you know, whatever. Can't really be a status spreader anymore because it ain't toxic anymore. But
no, but
it's, you know,
it has a good niche though. It has options.
You have, you know, and Roaring Moon is very flexible. It can be a wall breaker. It can sweep. Dedenne is, I think, really good at kind of surgically removing things with Super Fang and like. I just played. This is not really a spoiler. I just played Cuddles, and I thought their Dedenne set was really good. And I'm not gonna. When we get there, you know, inevitably when we get to week 7, we'll talk about that game, right? But I thought it was good, and I thought the thinking was great. Using a lot of Dedenne's very unique strengths to its benefit. Obviously, Sylveon and Fortress are kind of the walling core here. I think Fortress in particular, as we saw in the last game with Cuddles, Fortress has gotten more offensive, or it can play more aggressively. I think it sort of has a better niche because it has body press.
Yeah, it definitely beats what it used to be able to do back in like Gen 6.
Yeah, which is not a whole lot.
When it was seen as basically like shittier Ferrothorn, more or less. But I don't know what that Pokemon is. It doesn't exist in this generation. So it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, team's pretty similar. I mean, and we got the big sweepers, Darkrai, Roaring Moon, and potentially Sylveon too, kind of leading, following behind here. And looking at Blue Black's team, I'm immediately upset because there are 2 Grass Dragon types. But
and they're
one
from
is
the same
Terra.
evolution line, or the same evolution family.
It is just an apple prepared in 2 different ways. One is a pie, the other is worms. But the rest of the squad is, I think, kind of cool, actually. It's really kind of aggressive. He's got Florges for, like, a special wall. Heatran, it's a Heatran. I don't know what... It does whatever it wants. You can play, like, offensive, defensive, like, setup. I don't know. Like, this is one of those mons where I'm like, I won't know what this does until it's clicked in a move. And until then, I'm going to sit here and question what it wants to do.
Right, exactly.
And then, of course, there is a Great Tusk, which is very much more telegraphed because it kind of does one thing, but it does it really, 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 really well.
I mean,
And
I think it can do a lot of different things, but the thing that
it's
I think it will probably do on this team is try to break holes in things.
yeah, and that's sort of that's what I was kind of hinting at. Like in this comp, it looks like it wants to do one thing, and that's kill a bitch.
Right.
And also clicks rapid spin if it really, really has to. But I mean, headlong rush, close combat, ice spinner, rapid spin has been like the cookie cutter moveset, like 80% of the time on Great Tusks, and
Sure.
for good reason. Oh, hey, Galarian Slow King. I don't know, it's fat, it's a Slow King, it's Regenerator.
Great pivot. Got
Yeah,
chilly reception.
Yep.
If anything's Terra Ice, it can. No, okay.
Terra Ice on
the-
the fucking Appleton? I don't know. It's probably
That's
not. But,
probably not real. But yeah, that's fair.
but yeah, I'm gonna actually lean back in my chair, whip out my paint set, and kind of paint an Ultramarine, and I'm gonna let you cast this one.
Sounds
Have
good.
fun.
All right, so Literal Baby here is out against Pop Rocks. That's a Manaphy into a Heatran. Unlucky freeze. Huge freeze. With the red card, I'm so lost. So first of all, what? Okay, so now we're seeing what Jadena is really good at, really knocking down these walls through Super Fang. Moon Baby Girl is out. This thing's been thawed. Rocks are up.
There's a
Booster
dance.
speed. Roaring Moon. D-dancing up.
What?
Metal Sound is crazy. Metal Sound is crazy. So it won't kill because the red card's already been used up. This thing is at -4 special defense.
It sure is, and here's an apple pie. Terra Fairy.
Oh my
That's so greedy.
god. So now my question is, why the Metal Sound if you're just gonna kill it with Terra Fairy Appleton? But okay,
Because
so Appleton's
mathematically
land-
it dealt about 800%.
yeah, I know. You're killing 8 different Roaring Moons just throughout the multiverse.
The
so,
rest of the season.
yeah, Cuddles is banned from using Roaring Moon for the rest of the season. So, I'm losing track because like what is happening here is there's a lot of item-based switching. Super Fang Mists, that's kind of big. Amnesia? What? Amnesia?
Yep.
Apple Acid Amnesia. That's bizarre.
And there's the Parahax.
And there's a para, okay.
the
Gyro
Para actually hurting the
Ball.
Gyro Ball, I think.
Gyro Ball, because both of them are super slow. So Gyro Ball's really not going to do all that much. Apple Acid is probably going to get more value because it's dropping its special defense, which is already not incredible. So now we're... Oh, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, have fun with this one.
I'm just... Okay, so... There's not a lot that's happening, and if anybody is winning this exchange, it's probably blue-black. Because at least Apple Acid is doing more damage, but I have a sneaking suspicion that you're gonna run out of Apple Acids before you actually kill the fucking Fortress.
I mean, there's 12
Okay, so
more.
Terra Blast is resisted, but it's taking... Okay, so... Terra Blast is neutral into the Sylveon.
There's a Calm Mind,
Sylveon's
actually.
gonna Calm Mind. And here we go. We have the recover.
There's the recover. Para. Got him.
Oh my god. Okay, so Calm Mind Sylveon. This is the greediest fucking game I've ever seen. What the hell? Okay, so
I like how in the in-game chat, both players are equally confused as we are.
Scammed. See, they're clicking the buttons, right? So, all right, Apple Acid's dropping again. Okay, now I think Bard is winning this. Now I think Bard is winning.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, okay. Oh, that's big. Okay, so that's a lot of HP gotten back with
Yeah,
Draining
that's
Kiss.
good damage too.
What is so? Oh my god.
We're having a good chuckle. It was going downhill. Yes, it is. Para. Fuck.
Oh my god. Okay, so hyper.
Oh, there's the
okay,
hyper.
now we're using
Yo.
hyper voice. Throat spray. Okay, all right. Okay.
I love the throat spray call mindset. It's really funny.
Okay.
All right, a little bit of a smooch
Um,
onto the what? Huh?
Okay. So this thing just dies.
Yeah. We're +6. I had simply no other answers for this fat apple. I'm sorry. No, it's fine. I think
This is not a critique. I'm just so.
you've para-flinched Mox.
Oh my god.
Like, the person is now para-flinched. And there's a para!
Oh my god. Okay.
I like the quick
Yeah.
attack, though.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta get chip on the.
one more swing, one
the
more
elephant.
punch at the top, and then you go down.
Yeah.
There's Manaphy. Surf gets the one shot, or the 90%.
Of course.
Yeah.
So now there's a Florges to worry about. Florges has
Maybe
a
not.
very high special defense.
Oh, no, maybe we do worry.
Manaphy. Manaphy's just getting drained. This is just me reacting now. I'm not even trying to figure out what the thought process here is, because my entire conception of how to think about competitive Pokemon just went out the window when like a Fortress and an Appleton just kind of stare at each other.
Oh my god.
Kabia Berry is nuts.
Oh my god.
Kabia
The
Berry
move
is
last
fucking-
KO.
Oh my god. What is happening?
What is
happening? Okay, Nuzzle. Okay.
And there goes small baby girl.
Okay.
Thought process in this game?
Sure.
Clearly there is none.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, now Fortress is doing a lot less damage to Gyro Ball because you've made the floor just slower. That's okay, right? So Florges has very limited power points on the longevity moves, right? So eventually, right? How many PP does Wish have left now?
Wish still has 14.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh man. Oh, Florges.
Oh, and
Oh, I
here's
love
the
this
Manaphy.
Pokemon. Florges is one of my favorite Pokemon.
Surf. Good damage.
Para?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it lives.
Ain't
Oh
no
my
way.
god, this thing lives. Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Para. Oh!
I cannot believe this.
That mattered so
Oh my
bad, dude.
Did Cuddles just win?
Yes, off of a para.
Oh my god.
The ice beam was so
What?
unnecessary. Didn't no punish. So, you like that game? I think several quotes here are accurate. Stupidest game in history. Game of all time. The most Pokemon game of Pokemon this season. Yeah.
Oh. And this is why we're the fun league.
True. I hate everything about your division sometimes, but it's shit like this that makes me smile.
That's so hilarious. Oh my god.
Like, this should not have
I'm
been a
gonna-
win.
I'm gonna DM Evil Bard right now. Holy shit.
I am not gonna say this game was won off of RNG, but this game was kinda won off of RNG.
The game was the Discord did a stupid thing again. How do I say this? The game the disrespect was won off of RNG.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
The fucking This is Kieran staying in on with Gliscor on
On
a
a thing with triple axle, yeah.
or Ice Punch or something, right? Like that was crazy. I can't believe I wasn't there to see that live. I've kept my promise to Blue Black. I'm floored. There were so many decisions that were made, and
There were some choices of all time.
I want to say that they were solid positioning decisions, and I kind of believe that they were, because there's not a whole lot, at least in the moment, right? When you're playing, there's not a whole lot in the moment where you're like, okay, this thing is boosting its defenses. Like, explicitly its defenses, right? This Appleton is clicking Amnesia over and over and over again. You know, this is not, it's not like a momentum, as much of a momentum swing as like clicking Calm Mind is, but this thing has Apple Acid, right? So,
Yeah, so it's still
what-
making headway.
yeah, it's still making progress. What is being cooked up? And when Pokemon like that boosts its defenses, it makes it harder to switch in, right? Because if you think about it, you switch in, this thing's already Terra Fairy. You switch in, like Roaring Moon or something, right? A physical attacker, it's going to die to Terra Blast, and I think that's what we saw. You switch in to Dene, right, which I think was a good play. That the game was kind of like one giant ball of goo. So I don't exactly remember if there was a Dene switch in on the Amnesia to Appleton. I think there was, but that's where you click Super Fang, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's where you click Super Fang, right? That's the power of having that move, right? You know, I think there was some maybe some like, there were some quibbles here and there that I might have with the positioning in kind of a lock state like that. Like, what do you do? But when I'm really thinking about how the turns of that game went, I think they both played as optimally as they could, right?
Yeah,
The
I think
exchange
for the most part, I
was-
think it was like actually fairly well played.
Yeah, no.
I just wish the game didn't last 50 turns.
You know, okay, so I'm very used to playing like games that last for a very long time, right? So like I can sit through that. What I would think I'm mostly impressed by coming out of it was Puddles is in a sort of in a lock place, right? In sort of like a lock turn where they are on the losing momentum engine. Right, Apple Acid is kind of a cracked move on anything that's not Appleton, and it's pretty good on Appleton,
Yeah.
right? So what do you do? I mean, like, you have to take the time. Like, you're not really losing that much ground. You have to take the time to reset, relax, look. I mean, you can't really look a lot of turns ahead because you know that he's going to be clicking the same button. But think to yourself, okay, is it worth losing a Pokemon to, admittedly, this really fat, but otherwise maybe not super ultra threatening mon? Or do I want to try to screw up its own game plan? And I think the peril was huge, right? Obviously, it was
Oh,
huge
yeah.
because we saw it play out in the end. Bravo, truly. And I'm not making any of this up. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be any way about this. That was magnificent. Actually, one of the funniest and most bizarre games I've seen. That's Pokemon.
That
To me.
is a Pokemon game.
Wow, holy shit. I feel like I would have been screaming if I saw that live. But yeah, GG, that was great. Genuinely so fucking fun. Super cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Looking at the chat. Good thing luck is a skill we can level. My gotcha luck always comes in clutch. Clearly, in McKay came in clutch. And then Blue Black said, glad you had a stroke. Keeping Appleton in against Sylveon was 100% optimal fun.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Actually, that's a funny thought. Blue Black could have switched out as Sylveon starts hacking Calm Minds and then runs, like, something else. I don't know what you bring in, because I don't think Slow King is going to do very well until, like, a +2 special defense boosted Sylveon, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, this was certainly a Pokemon game of all time. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And
Yeah, it was great.
I have a headache now after rewatching it.
Oh my god. That's so funny. Oh, fucking funny. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's week 4-5 recap. I'll probably be doing week 6 soon. It'll probably be a week 6-7 combo, and it's gonna be probably a weird way of saying I'm just gonna do all of week 6 because week 6 is kind of hype. Except for
Yeah,
a
week
couple
6 was-
missed games, but otherwise, there's
Week
some
6
cool
was-
games. There were some,
It was pretty cool.
yeah, there were some big ones I really want to cast. I'm really looking at a couple particular games. Like, I think Hachiari versus Boba was kind of a watershed game for Unova. And I think as well, like Fennec Fox versus Ventus actually is another kind of a big one. It's sort of a the student has become the master kind of a moment, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because
Big passing the torch kind of vibes. on that
Yeah.
one. That's a game that has kind of a storyline to it as well. I
Oh
think,
yeah,
for real.
that's why I think that one's gonna be worth talking about for sure. It's gonna be really fun. And then even I think for Kalos Division, there are some pretty good ones. Like, I think Kick versus Blaze Demon is also another watershed game because
really
up
cool
to
game.
this point, Blaze Demon has had an undefeated record, but clearly something has changed in week 6. So I'm hoping we can set aside some time to do that. Really want to
Yeah.
talk about some of those games.
I also want to be in on the Unova stream this time if I can, because I was there physically when the Kieran versus Sarag game happened.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about
and
that
I'm-
for sure.
And I really want to tell that story because it's a funny fucking story.
Oh yeah, we'll figure out a time for that. I think it's gonna be really funny. But I think that's gonna do it for today. Chat, thanks so much for hanging out. And my only plug is, if you haven't already, please, I highly recommend you check out the official Glorious Corn merch store. It is down here somewhere, I think. Good lord, did I also not rename the stream? Fuck,
Here,
I didn't
here,
change it.
hey,
It
Corn,
says
Corn, I got you.
Warhammer.
Bro, I got you. Fellas, have you wanted to express explicitly that you are a social media and influencer shill, but also maybe support the little guy? Go to Corn's Teespring. Pick up not just the classic, and when I say classic, I mean truly classic, twitch.tv/gloriouscorn URL shirt that comes for free with the purchase of the shirt. On the back, a little print that says graphic design is my passion. You can also purchase Erebus from the Horus Heresy telling you, nay, begging you to like and subscribe. Nay, even giving you a friendly reminder to not forget to like and subscribe. You can get this print also on stickers and a mug. And every once in a while, you'll have like a funny discount code that Corn will cook up for you to get a couple cents off your order. As a proud owner of both shirts, I can say they are marginally comfortable. They're just comfortable enough for decent daily wear, but they're confusing as shit, and that's why they're good. Buy his fucking merch.
For once, I'm not the one doing the merch shill. It's a very nice change of pace. I'm glad I actually have someone who can actually vouch that the merch doesn't suck balls.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Like
wearable.
whatever. It's pretty
Yeah, it's
mid,
good.
but I mean, it's like decently cheap for funny shirts. So I mean, if you guys wanted to support the merch store that way, it'd be really appreciated. I've purposely set prices to be relatively low, as low as I can actually set them through Teespring, because for the most part, I'm not out to make a huge profit with these. Most of them are just made for fun. You know, silly shirts, silly designs, and stuff like that. So head on over. Link is in the box down below. And on YouTube, I'm really lazy. I'm sorry. But one day I'll have a QR code that I can have floating around on the screen. And actually, that is a shirt that I'm going to work on in the future. It's just a QR code shirt. Was a QR code link you to? That's right, the merch store.
That's funny.
I'll do it eventually. But anyway, guys, thanks so much again for hanging out. Thanks, Mox, for joining me tonight.
Of course. Thank you, my friend.
I'm now going to hit the button because I'm tired and I want to go
Yes.
paint minis. Wait a minute.
Great.
Hold on. We're Gigabrain real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna edit the text. And we're editing the end slate screen that was supposed to be temporary but became permanent. Boom! The link to the merch store. Hell yeah.
There we go. Excellent.
Alright, goodbye everybody.
Bye-bye. Good night.